Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Business and Learning Show. I am Tammy Munson.
And I'm Elena Frederick.
Now, for those of you that don't know, this show is all about highlighting the tips and tricks and all kinds of awesome things to help you grow and sustain your business. So that's what we're going to be talking about tonight, including a very special guest of ours will be joining us. And I'm very excited. She and I have been friends for years. But we're going to be talking about financial wellness specifically. So for more information on this episode and to learn more about Business and Learning, you can visit us at businessandlearning.com.
Yes, and we're going to be joined by Patty Gale. She is a financial therapist and the founder of Fear.less Financial, a personal finance boutique offering heart-centered financial therapy and advice-based planning for midlife women asking, what's next? As a financial therapist, she believes every midlife woman deserves life-changing emotional and financial wellness.
Welcome to the show, Patty.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Tammy and Elena, for having me.
I am so excited that you're here. Like I said in the beginning, you and I have been friends for a number of years. We go way back to the Army, my Army days.
Yep.
Well, my husband's Army days, my Army wife days, I guess is a better way to say it. I was not in the Army. No. But I think it's been at least probably 10 years or so.
Oh, yeah, at least. At least 2009, maybe. So it's at least 10, 11 years for sure.
Right. So it's crazy. Your daughter was still pretty young. Both of my kids were young. And now they're all grown and you've got grandchildren now, right?
I do. And how we met was my sons are active duty military. And so that's how we met, was through that military community. And yes, so my son, Matt, and his beautiful wife, they have two little girls, Layla and Sophie, who Layla will be 3 in just a couple weeks. And Sophie will be a year in June. So they're sweetie pies.
Oh, awesome. So Patty, why don't you tell our audience a little bit about yourself and how you got started with the whole financial wellness?
Sure. So I've been involved in the financial services community, somewhere since back in the 1980s. I actually started my career in corporate investment management. And so at that time, I lived in Cincinnati, and Cincinnati was a really great, and it still is a great hub for many different types of financial services companies. And so I actually started in a bank and eventually found in their money market department, and eventually found my way working through various investment management firms, first as an assistant securities trader, then as a full-on securities trader, to my last role in that environment was the director of trading. So what I did was, our role was we worked with the broker dealers. We managed accounts for large clientele, a lot of high net worth clients, a couple of small countries and municipalities. And anytime there was an asset allocation change, meaning if we were going to sell stocks or buy different stocks, my role was to direct the trading team on how we should make those trades to get the best price possible. So I did that, probably up until about 2004. And I actually left that piece of financial services after my daughter was born. And so I wanted to do something at home that I could be home with her, so I didn't have to put her in daycare. And that's also part of how Tammy and I met, was through online marketing and digital marketing. Yeah. And that was awesome. And it was great and wonderful. And then we moved to Colorado in 2014. And I was getting a bit burned out on digital marketing and affiliate marketing. Not that I guess I was just kind of burned out. It was tiring after doing it for, 10, 11 years.
No doubt.
And I'll never forget, we were sitting at our dining room table here in Colorado. My daughter, we had not even been here a couple of months, and she was 13. And we were sitting at the dinner table, and she knew I was restless. Like I needed to do something else. And she looked at me and she said, "Mama, what is it that you really want to do?" And I had no clue. I had been raising kids for so many years and entrenched in these careers for so long. I really did not know, what does Patty want to do for the rest of her life? And so it took me a couple of years, but I went through my own midlife reinvention. And 2008 hit our family very hard, as it did for most of the country.
Yeah, no kidding.
And so it took me a while, but I knew I wanted to get back into financial services in some capacity, but I just didn't know what. I had all the licenses and all that, and I knew I didn't want to do that again. I did not want to be, I didn't want to just sell insurance or investment products. And I mean, I totally love the people that do, but that's not what I wanted to do. And so it took me a while. And I just kind of started doing some Google searches on, okay, what can I do in financial services from the personal finance side? Because I knew that all the emotions and the things that I was going through, I knew there had to be other women in this age group who were going through the same things, except nobody was talking about it. Right. Nobody was talking about it. So it took me a while, and I just started doing Google searches, and financial therapy kept coming up on the radar. And once I started digging in and learning more about what that was, and there are two kind of different elements to financial therapy. Like there are mental health professionals that work with clients in financial therapy for actual money disorders, right? And then there are financial services professionals who work in the financial therapy arena that work with the emotions of money and the mechanics of money. And that's when I was like, I knew that that's what I wanted to do.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Because, and you talk a lot about how emotion and financial wellness are really intertwined. And I guess I never really thought about that until I was reading through your blog and stuff. And I'm like, you know what? It is, I know I've shopped online a time or two that it was tied to some sort of retail therapy.
Right.
And my husband's probably like, oh God. but it really is. I mean, especially when you think about racking up debt, a lot of it has been tied to retail therapy sessions and things like that.
Yes, absolutely. And for a lot of us, many of us, we have gone through, many people, I'm not going to say everyone, but many people have gone through some type of financial trauma in their life. Whether as a child, if you grew up in extreme poverty, that's financial trauma. If you've been through a divorce, if you've become an unexpected widow, if you've been through something like 2008, and even now, what we're experiencing now, this is financial trauma for a lot of people. Going through how many, and if you're watching this at another time, going through this pandemic right now as this is being recorded, there's a lot of people who've lost their jobs, and it is those financial traumas that we carry into adulthood that affect our behaviors on how we deal with money now. And yes, there are people doing some retail therapy, and and that's not necessarily a bad thing until it becomes an addiction, and that's where it becomes a money disorder. But for women, especially for women, we are definitely wired differently to think and feel about money than many men are. For us, financial security is our safety. When we feel financially secure, like we feel like we're going to be okay. And when we take care of ourselves emotionally, physically, spiritually, we feel better about ourselves. So when women feel better about ourselves, we feel better about our finances and feel better equipped to address our finances. And one of the things that I like to do is, let's make finance and personal finance more feminine. I mean, having been in financial services as long as I have, it is a very male-dominated industry even today, even though that's changing. but it's always been, that financial jargon and that financial vernacular that many use in the industry, that a lot of women, smart, educated, even professional women, feel like they are being talked down upon sometimes. And, or there's a lot of financial shaming out there. Like now too, we see, maybe not so right now, but in the past, you have some people saying, well, if you had an emergency fund, you wouldn't be in this situation, or, oh,
Mhm. Yeah.
we're better prepared.
Right.
Well, okay. We all know things that we should do, but at the same time, somewhere between our 20s and now, there's a lot of life stuff that happened. And there are some things that you just simply cannot prepare for. There is,
Patty,
yes.
I have a question here.
Sure.
Well, since you're kind of talking about like preparing and stuff,
Mhm.
and kind of looking at, like you said, like we're going through this pandemic right now. This is being recorded. But there's things that happen all the time. There's hurricanes, earthquakes, there's, personal emergencies and experiences.
Mhm.
What is it that, everyone, including entrepreneurs and especially entrepreneurs, what can we do as business owners to make that plan moving forward? So, obviously there's still the shaming thing, and that's an emotional thing to work on it, but what can we do to make a plan to move forward?
Sure. And so, and anytime there's any type of, disaster or something like that, I think for a lot of us, it's a wake up call, like, oh, I really need to make that plan. And so what I like to have is financial dates, right? It's like you're having a financial date with yourself, a financial date night with yourself. And so, because when you think about it, in a perfect world, right, we would all have beautiful budgets, spreadsheets, and, and all of that. But a lot of people don't relate to that. A lot of people are scared to look in their online banking. And a lot of that goes back to that emotional piece. So what I like to do is, professionally, like for a business, have a financial date with yourself, especially for the women, where you're getting out, maybe some snacks and a bottle of wine or a candle and some chocolate and things like that, where you're taking that piece and making it more relaxed and more comfortable, so that you're saying, okay, now I'm going to address the issue of creating the plan. And, and that's the emotional piece. The mechanics, of course, is where you're looking at, like, say, your business expenses. How much cash reserves do you need as a business to survive, 2, 3, 4 months if you are shut down?
Right.
And and part of that too is creating a disaster recovery plan for your business. I know after 9/11, I was tasked with creating that type of a plan for the financial services firm I was working for at the time. And that includes everything. That includes not just the financial piece, but also all your important documents, all of your important financial documents for your business as well as for your personal life. It includes, computer equipment. A lot of it's going to depend too. Do you have a brick and mortar business, or are you just strictly a remote business? So there's a little differences there. But you have to, when you have to run your numbers to know what you need to be financially sustainable, for several months, however long it's going to take. It's not that much different than when we look at our personal finances in running our household and saying, okay, what do you need to keep a roof over your head and the lights on in your house and food on the table and your absolute essential bills, right? That's your survival for however many months out that you need that for. And so it's very similar to what we do in a business. A lot of it too is going to depend on if you have employees and things like that. That gets a little bit more intricate, but not to say that it shouldn't be done.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
We hear a lot of conversations happening about COVID. obviously it's on the forefront of everybody's mind. Are your family safe? Are you safe? What's going on within your community? But entrepreneurs have a little bit different worries to not only help the employees that do work for them, if they have employees,
right,
but also how to keep their business going. It's not just a matter of, well, I'm shut down and everything's okay. You still have expenses to pay for.
exactly.
You still have to try and keep your business afloat. What are some of the things that entrepreneurs, especially female entrepreneurs, need to be doing at this point going forward if they haven't done anything at this point?
Sure. Yeah, that's a really great question and topic, Tammy. I'm so glad you brought that up. The biggest thing is if you haven't already pivoted your business. So, for example, if you're a brick and mortar business, whether if you're a restaurant, I know many restaurants have been doing curbside pickup or delivery, right? A lot of other local businesses, we've seen that even here with like bike shops and things like that have implemented curbside delivery and things like that. The biggest thing going forward, I mean, if you haven't pivoted yet, it's not too late to do those things as a backup, because a lot of it's going to depend too on when your state is reopening your type of business, right?
Yeah.
The other thing is really to start mapping out multiple streams or multiple sources of revenue for your business. What types of products and services can your business offer that are complementary to your primary offering? So, for example, for a restaurant who maybe have already pivoted to online cooking classes, I would not dismiss that going forward as a restaurant, right? Because if you are a restaurant, depending on when your state or municipality opens up restaurants, there's absolutely no reason why you can't continue to do online cooking classes as an additional source of revenue. So I would start mapping out like what are the complementary products or services or other things that you can do to add those different streams for your business to keep that going now until your state or city opens up your type of business, and then see how that's going to fit going forward, if that can be a viable source of another type of income stream for your business. I mean, if you look at, like, if you are in the restaurant business, I'm just, looking at that because I know they've been hit really, really hard. But if you look at the Food Network and the Food Network professional chefs, they have shows, they have cookbooks, they have cookware, they have, restaurants, they have multiple sources of revenue to keep them going in case one of those sources of revenue, goes through any type of downturn. It's honestly, it's no different than having a diversified investment portfolio, right? You're not going to be invested all in one stock, or all in one type of bond or anything like that. And it really should be no different with your business. You really do need to have those different complementary sources of revenue. And that's going to also keep your employees happy too, because they're going to have a job.
One of my favorite examples of this, another industry that's been hit hard is the salons. So the hairstylist, and a couple of really great things that I've seen is where people are starting to do online courses where, for one, they teach you like how to cut your son's hair. So like the proper use of clippers, how to, do the clippings and stuff like that. And then another one was doing like how to trim your hair at home. So how to just get rid of the split ends. Obviously, most of us aren't going to be going into like feathering of our hair or creating layers, because we may end up really out there. But like some of those more simple things that you could potentially do on your own, I love that, of just offering it. And then it even shows, their authority, locally in the area where they have these courses and classes, and they're talking about like, this is how you do this, and they show their expertise. So I even love that, just even as an overall marketing strategy too.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Oh, go ahead, Tammy.
No, I was going to say, we have a couple of local salons here in our town that they were doing product bundles, that they were pulling together certain things that, having known you as a client and your hairstyle, and like, I have naturally curly hair, what are the best things that are going to work for my type of hair? They would actually, customize it, put that together. And that's just one more product stream to get to continue that flow of revenue coming in, because they still have, like I said, they still have expenses and all that kind of stuff. So it's just been amazing to see what people are, now that they have to kind of step out of the box a little bit and think, okay, what are some of the things I wasn't willing to try that I'm willing to try now, just out of pure desperation?
Absolutely. And that's a really great point. And, going forward, that shouldn't change because I think for brick and mortar businesses, they have to be online now.
Yes.
They're not going to have a choice, right? They're going to have to be online now. And it's unfortunate that they got thrown into this, because there's a lot of skills to learn. If you're a brick and mortar business, or even if you're a coach or a consultant and you've never done anything online before, there is a learning curve. But now, and Tammy, as you know, because we've been doing online marketing for as long as we have, and I'm sure Elena too.
Forever.
Right? The technology now is so much simpler than it was, 5 years ago, much less 10 years ago.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. So it's not nearly as challenging from the technology perspective to get online or do a Facebook Live. I mean, everybody who's in business has something to teach. You have an expertise. You have, you have talents and that you can bring to the world in perhaps just a little bit of a different way than selling your, your core product offering. And so now is the time to really just kind of expand that and just really think and, just start brain dumping. And the other thing too, for brick and mortar businesses, is start looking at affiliate marketing. Affiliate marketing, no, it's not, may not necessarily bring in hundreds and hundreds of dollars a month, but affiliate marketing is another great way for any business, especially a brick and mortar business, to offer complimentary products and services on their website that they don't have to keep inventory for. And, for like a restaurant, I don't know if they still do, but the Food Network used to have an affiliate program. I'm sure there are.
They do, yeah.
Do they? I don't know if they still do or not.
I think so.
But those, it's just another small, even if it's a small revenue stream, if you're only generating, $100 a month from an affiliate program, well, it's $100 that you didn't have before, as a small business, which may make the difference of, buying inventory or not. I don't know. It depends on your business. But that's definitely, something else to start looking. And there's so many great resources out there to learn the right way to do affiliate marketing.
Right.
Yeah. And Robin, she's commenting, love this. Think of what else you can do to complement your business. Exactly what I've been thinking about lately. Great advice, Patty.
Hi, Robin. I love her. She's so awesome. I've known Robin. Oh my gosh. Robin and I go back to the 1980s. She's like a sister. She's a sister. I call her a sister because she's so awesome.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And I love when others support other businesses. I mean, there's really no reason why you can't support me and I can't support you. I mean, we're literally all in this together now. And it's definitely the time to support your other local businesses and maybe see how you guys can partner together on something. Maybe you have complementary businesses that you focus on one aspect of it and they focus on something else. And then you can bring those two together and have maybe a joint event online. I'm not advocating getting together. No. Physical distance, everyone. Please do not send me notes about that. But it would be definitely a great opportunity, maybe for two businesses locally that never thought about working together, that can now.
Yeah.
Why not?
Exactly.
Yep.
That is a great point, Tammy, because now more than ever, we have to collaborate. We have to collaborate. We have to collaborate. I can't stress that enough, because small businesses are, the lifeblood of your community. The mom and pops, the hardware store that's been around for 35, 50 years or whatever, those types of businesses. My grandparents' generation was those types of businesses. I remember, I'm from New York originally, grew up on Long Island, but, my grandparents lived their entire life either in Little Italy or Brooklyn. And so, the store was on the first level, and, not that my grandparents didn't, but, and then they lived upstairs essentially in those types of apartment. That was like the original mom and pop type businesses,
Yeah. So we have a guest question from Jenna in Elena's sort of neck of the woods down in Houston. And she says, I'm thinking about applying for one of the SBA's small business loans to help me recover from COVID-19. Is this worth it?
To apply?
Yeah, to take, in order, I'm assuming to take out a loan to kind of recover from this.
Sure. So those loans, depending on, if she's talking about a traditional SBA loan, then she's really going to need to do a little bit of research on that. But the newer loans are actually forgiveness loans. And I believe for those small businesses, it's up to $10,000. And my understanding is that they're not actually, even though it says loan, I believe they are forgivable. In other words, they do not have to be repaid. But she's definitely going to want to check into that for sure. It never hurts to apply.
Right.
Yes, you're going to have to submit some documentation about your business. I believe you have to submit inventory numbers and sales and things like that, but it never hurts to apply. You won't know unless you apply.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, we've got another one. This is kind of getting out of the debt that sometimes the loan puts you into. So Gigi from Oklahoma, my husband and I are trying to pay off our $50K student loan credit card debt. Any tips to accomplish this goal?
Okay, so student loan credit card debt, is it student loans and then credit card debt, or is it student loans on the credit card?
I think it's a combination of the both, because it says student loan and credit card debt. So I think it's a combination of the both.
Gotcha. So a lot of that, Gigi, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
So Gigi, thank you for your question. I really appreciate it. A lot of that right now is depending on your financial situation. If you are in a position to start paying that off, you're going to have to look at what is the interest rate that's on your credit cards? What is the balance that's on your credit cards versus what it is that you owe versus your student loans? I'm not a student loan expert. I just want to say that. I do know some people who are. If you would like to send me a message and I can scout them out for you and have you contact them directly. There are different ways to pay down credit card debt. You can use, and depending on how many credit cards you have. So for example, if you have more than one credit card and you have various balances on each one, you're going to have to look at, okay, what's the interest rate on each one? What's the balance on each one? Which one do you feel most comfortable paying off first? The ones with the highest balances, the ones with the highest interest, or do you just want to get rid of whatever you can as quickly as possible? I know there are certain, there are some that say, well, you have to do it this way, or you have to do it that way. Yeah. I believe that it depends on what you feel most comfortable with, and it depends on your financial situation. So for example, if you have credit cards A, B, and C, and if credit card number C has the lowest balance, and if you're in a position to just get rid of it, then just get rid of it. If that's going to make you feel better. And then you only have the other two to deal with. So I would start there. And then the other thing you can do too, which I've talked to, some of my clients about too, is contact your credit card companies to see if they are willing to negotiate a lower rate for you.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah. If you've been paying on time, and if you're a good customer, if you've been paying on time, more than likely they're going to be, I can't guarantee they will, but they are going to be more open to the possibility of lowering your interest rate for you. So in your scenario, Gigi, I would look at the ones with the highest interest rates and then call those companies to see if they're willing to negotiate a lower rate for you.
Fantastic advice. Thank you, Patty.
You're welcome. I hope that helps.
And Gigi, we will be talking about how to contact Patty toward the end of the show. But first, we do this on every show with all of our guests. We just a little rapid fire questions for you. Nothing too difficult, I promise.
Okay.
Okay. So the first one is, you've lived in multiple areas of the United States. Do you have a favorite area? I don't want to call out a particular town necessarily unless you want to, but do you have a favorite area?
So I grew up on Long Island, and I still have many friends on Long Island and family in that whole Long Island, New York City, New Jersey, Connecticut area. Growing up on Long Island in high school, we spent summers at the beach, Jones Beach, beaches on the North Shore. So as much as I love the mountains here in Colorado, I'm a beach gal. So for me, there is nothing more relaxing than getting up and walking to the beach at sunrise and just standing there watching the sun come up over the ocean and listening to the waves coming up on the shore. I
love that. I'm a beach person too. There's nothing better than that. All right, what is your favorite movie?
When Harry Met Sally.
I love it.
When Harry Met Sally. So yeah.
Okay. All right. And describe yourself in 3 words.
Oh gosh. 3 words. Passionate, compassionate, passionate, and driven.
I definitely agree.
Yep, I agree too. And I've only known you for a short amount of time, and I can already see that. So, awesome. All right, let's go on to the next one. What is your favorite meal or drink from a local restaurant?
Okay, so we have a fairly new here in Colorado Springs pizzeria restaurant called Basil and Barley, and it is actually owned and run by Italians from Italy. So in case you haven't figured it out yet, I'm New York Italian. So they are Italians from Italy, and you go in there and they actually brought their brick oven over from Italy. It's absolutely gorgeous. And the whole front, like they have they have tables you can sit down, and they also have like a bar that you can sit down and have dinner and drinks. And the whole front of the bar is all Italian tiles. Oh, it's just absolutely gorgeous. They import all of their ingredients from Italy. It is just absolutely delicious.
Okay, that place is going on my list when I come to visit Colorado Springs. I've got certain places from when I lived there that is going to be one of them.
Yeah, I know.
I'm going to do a trip just to go.
I think about 2 years ago, maybe maybe not even quite, about 2 years ago, I think.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's delicious.
Awesome. Okay. What are you reading now? What books?
Oh my gosh. More than one at a time. So my library.
I noticed your books behind it.
Yes. Actually, what I'm getting ready to read right now is, hold on. Man's Search. I don't know if you can see this, probably backwards. Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. So this I actually won from an awesome mentor of mine And we're actually starting this in one of her book clubs. So this is what I'm getting ready to read right now.
Very cool. Very
Very
cool.
nice.
Thanks.
All right. So do you have a favorite podcast?
Oh, I don't know if I have a favorite one. I have a lot that I listen to. I love Covey Club, Midlife Reinvention. That's one of my favorites.
Yes.
Yeah, she is awesome. And so I would have to say that, I mean, there are some financial ones that I listen to that they're not, they're more informational than they are entertaining. But I would have, I guess I don't necessarily have a all-in-one favorite that comes to mind, but Covey Club is definitely at the top of the list.
Awesome. Well, you mentioned that you are you're an empty nester or about to be an empty nester, like myself.
Yes.
We're both going to be in that same boat this coming fall. What's next for you, Patty? I mean, I know you're doing all those the financial stuff, but do you have anything that's Patty 2.0?
Patty 2.0. It's really kind of bittersweet in a way because, like, with my daughter going off to school, I love to travel. I absolutely love to travel. My dream vacation is more like spending. So Italy has 9. I'm sorry, I keep going back to Italy, but Italy has.
I'm with you, girl. I'm with you.
Italy has 9 regions, right? So my dream is to spend 1 month in each region, starting from northern Italy and working our way all the way down to Sicily. So that is my absolute dream, right? Wouldn't that be awesome? So my heart is just breaking for Italy and all of Europe, and of course, everybody who's going through this situation right now. But I built my business to be virtual, like, doing things like this, client meetings, everything I'm doing was with the intention that I could just pick up my computer and my phone and whatever and be able to serve women wherever I am. And so that combined with travel, visiting family, of course. I mean, I am just missing my kids and their families and, my parents. And, that's really hard, not being able to travel to see them right now.
Yeah. And it was your mom's birthday a couple of days ago or yesterday.
Yes.
Happy birthday, Mama.
Yeah, we've been doing, as a matter of fact, Friday, we're doing a family cocktail party. So we've been doing family Zoom parties. So that's been helpful, but it's not the same thing as giving everybody a hug,
Yeah, no
Absolutely.
kidding. Yeah. Well, thank you, Patty, so much for joining us tonight. How can members of our audience get in touch with you or connect with you?
Sure. Well, thank you so much for having me, Tammy and Elena. It has been awesome. So you can find me at fearlessgirlfinancial.com. And if you go to fearlessgirlfinancial.com/money guide, I have a free Fearless Girl Money Journal just for you. That's totally free. Just opt in and it will be emailed to you automatically.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, that was fun.
Yes. I learned a little bit.
Now I want Italian food.
I know, I'm hungry. It's all Patty's fault.
Well, thanks so much, everyone, for joining us on the special edition of Business and Learning, the live show. We'd like to thank Patty, our very special guest, for her insight and her time tonight. We'll be back next Tuesday. Yep, starting in May, we will be moving to Tuesday nights at 7 p.m.
Yes, so make sure you visit us at businessandlearning.com, sign up for our mailing list, subscribe, and we'll be letting you know about future guests and lots of freebies and lots of information there as well. And we'll be uploading this episode at businesslearning.com so you can see more. We'll have the links and everything else there. So thank you guys so much for being with us today, and we look forward to seeing you next time.
Bye, everybody. Stay safe.
Bye.